What's going on, guys? Welcome back to United View. Hope everyone is doing very well. Welcome back to another edition of the Transfer View. A bit of a short, sharp, sweet update when it comes to transfer news and Manchester United. It's Monday. Unfortunately, no red carpet this evening. Different people are unavailable, some illness as well. So I said, you know what? It's Monday, it's 7 p.m, the UV community are expecting something, so we're going to give you a bit of a transfer update, the very latest that's going on in the world of Manchester United when it pertains to transfers, a little bit of an update when it comes to Alejandro Garnacho and the possibility of Napoli re-entering the race to sign the Manchester United winger. Also an update on Patrick Dorgu, the latest when it comes to him potentially being Ruben Amorim's preferred choice, preferred option, if indeed Manchester United do sign a wing-back, particularly a left wing-back from Lecce. So be sure to smash a like on the like button. Be sure to subscribe, bottom right-hand corner. Let's get into the Garnacho stuff first. So according to Sky Sports and Sky Sports in Italy specifically, the suggestion is that Napoli are set to resume talks with Manchester United for Alejandro Garnacho in the next few hours. So today, the expectation was that Napoli were going to be going back in, or at least resuming the conversations with Manchester United for Garnacho. Now, the difference between Napoli and Chelsea, of course, when it pertains to this whole Garnacho pursuit is that Napoli have actually made an approach to Manchester United previously. It was thought to be below what Manchester United are looking for. Of course, Napoli still looking to replace Kvaratskhelia. Adeyemi, they're getting him from Borussia Dortmund. And I think with that signing, people had assumed, well, is that the replacement for Kvaratskhelia? And therefore, is it really just leaving Chelsea to have a clear run at signing Garnacho? Around sort of Thursday last week, there was those reports, wasn't there, that Chelsea had decided they were going to make a bid, they were going to make an approach for Garnacho, and things were going, and expected to certainly sort of ramp up from there. But then nothing's really happened in that regard. We've heard the rumblings, we've heard the rumours, but as far as a bid going in, a 59 or 60 million pound, 70 million euro bid going in from Chelsea, we just haven't heard that. And kind of like I spoke about this morning, I suppose, we're still in that kind of phase at the moment, are we? Where we're looking at the date, Monday, 27th of January, and going, well, if Garnacho is going to go, and of course we know that Manchester United are reluctant to sell him, but because of financial dire situations and because of the PSR problems that we find ourselves in, because of that, we may have to sell Garnacho, not necessarily to fund the pursuit of Patrick Dorgu or whoever we're going to sign at left wing back. That looks to be unrelated to this Garnacho stuff. Of course, it makes it easier, but the suggestion is because Anthony's gone to Real Betis on loan and because Betis are getting, they're covering 84% of his salary for the remainder of the season, then the left wing back pursuit can be done kind of regardless of what happens with Garnacho. But because of the PSR situation, should Manchester United sell Garnacho for around £60 million, of course he's an academy player, it represents pure profit, and according to some, you can kind of turn that £60 million of pure profit into an £180 million spend when it comes to PSR, because of course transfers, they're done through amortization, they're not all paid up front, so it can give Manchester United a lot of room to manoeuvre, not necessarily just in the winter window, but also in the summer window. But as time rumbles on, it makes it more difficult for Manchester United to go and find a replacement. It makes it more difficult for a deal to be put together and gives less time to negotiate. We do know that Chelsea, certainly in the past, like to leave things late when it comes to the window, and sometimes they like also for other clubs to do kind of all the legwork themselves and swoop in once all the sort of difficult stuff's been done. So it would appear that Napoli are still in this race. As time rumbles on, this Garnacho one's getting more and more interesting, because this time last week it really felt like this one's a real possibility. This could really happen. Fast forward 7 days and we get closer to the deadline of February 3rd and we go, actually, you know what? Starts to feel a little bit less likely, and that there's not a lot of movement. Ruben Amorim's been talking quite glowingly, actually, of Garnacho in recent games in his press conferences after the victories against Rangers and Fulham, saying he likes the player, he's improving, he's developing, he's trying to find him the right position. Certainly in stark contrast to Marcus Rashford, where Rashford can't even get in the matchday squad, let alone start a game, which Garnacho has been doing, playing in the 10 role too. So this one is very much firmly up in the air, and I suppose we wait and see to see if Napoli are going to put in a higher bid, to see if Chelsea are even going to put in a bid, and what happens if there is indeed a bid, that bid's accepted. Do we then get into the territory of, right, having conversations with Chelsea, with time's running out, so do we get Nkunku on loan for the end of the season? No obligation to buy, but it's, a lot of money, plus we have a replacement ready there, or is it just not going to happen and it's going to be something that's going to be revisited come the summer, or is all the focus when it comes to outgoing going to be put on Marcus Rashford instead? We shall see, but looks like Napoli indeed are about to re-enter this conversation. So let me know what you think is going to happen. Let me know your prediction when it comes to this. What do you think is going to happen with Alejandro Garnacho in this window? Is he going to stay at Manchester United? Is he going to go to Chelsea? Is he going to go to Napoli? Or is there something else we haven't even considered right now? Let me know your thoughts about it in the comment section below when it pertains to that. Now, Patrick Dorgu, an interesting update when it comes to Manchester United's pursuit of a left wing-back as well, because according to Florian Plettenberg, or as Flex would call him, Florentine Plettenberg, German-based journalist, of course, Patrick Dorgu is Ruben Amorim's favoured target for the left wing-back position, and he is pushing hard for Manchester United to sign him. However, if a deal falls through, United are seriously considering activating Alvaro Fernandez's buyback clause from Benfica. It's along the same lines, really, this report, from what we heard from Rob Dawson over the weekend. It was something I spoke about on the pre-match of the match view yesterday, that there was this report coming out from ESPN suggesting that Manchester United, this is why they were confident that they are going to get a left wing back in this window. We've heard Fabrizio Romano kind of talking absolutes when it comes to the pursuit of this position, whoever it may be that. So no doubt, I think was the phrase that he used, wasn't it? No doubt Manchester United will sign a left wing back in January. And I think maybe that confidence comes from they think it's going to be Patrick Dorgu. But if Lecce don't budge and they don't want to do business, then they feel like they've got a quick deal they can do with Benfica, with Alvaro Fernandez. I'm assuming that's with the legwork of sort of discussions that he wants to come back, because if the player doesn't want to, it's not like they can force the player to sign or anything like that. But of course, Benfica don't have a choice in the matter when it comes to the fee. That was pre-agreed as part of his transfer to Benfica in the first place. But it feels like with the time, the effort, and maybe even the money that's going to be spent on Dorgu, it feels like he's the one that Manchester United want, because he can play on both sides, bow-footed, young, I guess fits the profile of what United are looking for. There are reservations over the fee. It's always been €40 million. Last summer it was for Spurs, for Chelsea. It is now for Manchester United. My prediction hasn't really wavered today. I've heard the reports that Dorgu's family's, actually in Lecce today, and that's unusual. And his family are pushing for a move to Manchester United because it would benefit all of them. I mean, take it all with a pinch of salt. I still think this deal is going to happen. I still think this one is going to go through. I think we're going to end up with a fee where everyone claims that they won, but nobody really does, which is, I think it will probably end up being 35 plus €5 million, which is a total package of 40. So Lecce gets to say, look, we said we wanted 40, we got 40. Manchester United get to say, they said they wanted 40, we gave them 35, and the add-ons are this, that, and the other. I think that's probably where we end up. And there is concern, and there's a lot of skepticism about Manchester United's transfer strategy and just in general at the moment, which is entirely understandable when you've had a hit record that is awful when it comes to transfers over the past decade. And even though this past summer, it's not as if we made terrible transfers, but there is just this feeling of we find ourselves in this situation now where we can't spend because we've overpaid. And I think now we look at transfers finally as fans and say, that seems like a lot of money for a young player. Do we know that much about him? Is he going to be good? And like we always say when it comes to transfers, people don't talk about finances. People don't talk about transfer fees and wages if they're a success. Even some of the people that have spent huge amounts of money on players, if they're successful, you generally don't care. The problem becomes, as we've seen with Casemiro, as we've seen with Antony, who's now out on loan, as we've seen with plenty of others throughout history at Manchester United, is that when we overspend a big transfer fee and a big contract, and then we find out in a year's time, 2 years' time, they're not it, and we're trying to move them on, and we can't because the player goes, why would I give up this contract? A buying club goes, I can't buy out that contract. That value is ridiculous. Those are the problems. And that's not Patrick Dorgu's fault, but I think the skepticism absolutely is valid there. And the problems also at United are so deep and so vast that there is this kind of feeling of it's a drop in the ocean as to what we really need. But you do have to start somewhere, I suppose. And if this is who Ruben Amorim wants, we want Ruben Amorim to be backed. And I don't think backing is just, oh, here you go, there's a left wing back, go win the league or anything like that. And I don't know how much of a difference overall it will make, but it's a start, I suppose. Will it be the only signing we make in January? I think we get the left wing back in, and there's part of me that just thinks that a loan could happen or a loan is possible. I don't know whether I'm picking that out for that. Might just be pure hopium, pure copium. I don't know. I don't have the full answer to that. Well, why I think that's going to happen. Maybe it's just complete nonsense. I mean, I've been known to say that on this channel. So there you go. That's the latest transfer news for you. A reminder, we'll be live once again tomorrow morning, 9 a.m. for the transfer view. Tomorrow also is Tuesday. That means a brand new episode of the Flex and KG show. And of course, as I mentioned, there is transfer season. There's only a few days left of the window, which means anything can happen. And developments, as we've seen so far, certainly under Ineos, we saw it in the summer, they can come out of nowhere and left turns can happen that we didn't expect. So, of course, if that does happen, I'll be here. We can go live or we can drop a video at a drop of a hat and keep you guys updated and get involved in the discussion. So, let me know your thoughts on the latest when it comes to Garnacho, when it comes to Patrick Dorgu. Let me know how you're feeling about the transfer window in general. Are you panicking? Are you beyond the point of caring now? Because I've seen that sort of level of apathy from a lot of Manchester United fans too, of this just get to the end of the season. I was looking at our recent form actually, and I was thinking, if you take the sort of the Brighton game out of it, we've not done too bad actually in 2025. Obviously, we've got the draw at Anfield. We got the knocked Arsenal out the cup. We beat Southampton. Obviously, lost terribly to Brighton, but won against Rangers. Won at the weekend. It's not pretty, but I think that's going to be us for the rest of the season. And of course, Amorim needs players, no doubt about it. So there you go. Be sure to smash the like on the like button, guys. Be sure to subscribe, bottom right-hand corner, and I'll see you again tomorrow morning. I'm out there. Peace.